hell, asshole! Yelled Garland. Lester! The old chief smiled and pulled out a revolver, still holding a half-burned flare in one hand. He held the gun out. Oh, not a good move, Mr. Taco. Gully Taco fired. The bullet bounced off the metal plate, ricocheting off a rock and whizzing past Garland's ear. As the old man lined up his second shot, Garland dropped the chain and pivoted to his right side with the gun-filled backpack. Rotating counterclockwise, he brought his arms forward and flung the pack toward the old Indian, keeping hold of it as he mashed it together, expelling the contents through the air. It splashed the old chief from the top of his headdress to the bottom of his buckskin moccasins, covering his face and dripping from every part of his body. Lester charged. Kalitaka dropped the flare. It was clear of the fuse, but it began to roll. The huge gator launched itself into the air, mouth open wide, and clamped down on the chest and torso of the shaman-turned chief, turned desperate. It immediately went into a death roll, twisting and flipping the old man's body like a limp rag doll. Garland felt as if his legs were caught in molasses. He watched as if in slow motion as the road flare rolled directly over the fuse, catching it immediately, like an Independence Day sparkler. Garland didn't think. He ran forward, not backward. 3 huge steps and he crouched low. Beside the burning fuse was the enormous dead gator, his brutal jaws snapping bones, tearing through the buckskin and feathers, ripping the old man's 200-year-old body in two, his innards spilling out, further exciting the undead reptile. Garland, running at full speed, scooped up the fuse and staggered forward, wrapping as much of it around his fist as he could. His momentum carried him forward, and though he had not seen what lay below, he pushed on to his feet as hard as he could. Low as I charged for the wall to grab the string of planted dynamite and try to pull it to the opposite ledge and save all our lives, it suddenly began pulling away by itself. Confused, I followed the string of tethered dynamite and saw a figure flying overhead, momentum carrying it toward the cliff behind us, and I realized it was none other than Garland Hunter. He was screaming as he flew overhead, but both hands were pulling on the explosives Garland's momentum carried him all the way to the cliff's edge, and as he dropped, I, Tyler, Danny, Lily, and Georgie all jumped to the sides, clearing the way for the string of dynamite to pull away from the vines draping down the face of the cliff, to follow. The dead one moved out of the window, and the fuse got tangled underfoot as Garland plunged over the edge, out of sight. I charged toward the closest water and gave the bastard the Heisman, pushing his frail body with both hands as I ran toward the cliff's edge, finishing the job and shoving him over. The fuse wrapped around his legs went along with it, pulling the remains from the cave wall. As the last stick slid over the edge and out of view, I let out a sigh of relief. My elation didn't last long, because a split second later, another shake plummeted from above us. This one landed so hard it shook the very ground upon which we stood. It was a huge alligator, at least a 15-foot length. In its mouth was half a body, bloody, feathered head pressed twisted among the torn flesh and snapping teeth. That monstrous alligator was playing death roll on dry land, spinning and twisting its way toward the ledge where Garland had gone over. No, where Garland had flown over. He must have had a hell of a running start to pull that whole string of dynamite over that cliff to save us all. We were all feeling a surge of strength from the ceremony at the top. Garland probably had no clue where he'd gotten the surge of power from. The gator kept spinning toward the ledge until its enormous tail slid over. From there, it momentarily spun the gator around as if to display the half man in its jaws. Now, I'm fractured the silence of the night. The vibration from which sent dirt and debris cascading down every sheer face of the mountain upon which we stood. We all scrambled as far from the ledge as we could, huddling near the cave entrance in case the plateau gateway to collapse. It did. Still, we waited. A familiar voice called out in the half-moonlit darkness. A little help? I looked at Georgina, Danny, and Ray. Hear that? I think so, said Danny. What, really? I said nothing. Instead, I charged forward, shoving aside the remaining dead milling around the plateau, and reached the ledge. Falling down on my stomach, I stared down. There was Garland Hunt, clinging to a large tree growing from the side of a sheer dirt wall. His legs were wrapped around the trunk and his left hand clutched a root, protruding from the cliff face about 2 feet above his body. Everyone okay? He asked. Hell yeah, everyone's okay. Thanks to you. You know who's not okay, CB? Asked Garland. Who? Me, you asshole. Pull me the hell up. I laughed then. When I looked behind me, I simultaneously felt Danny's arms curl around the legs, holding him steady. Save his ass, CB, he said. He don't do it. Yeah, he did, I said. Reaching down, I clasped Garland's wrist as he clasped mine, and I strained to pull his skinny body up. He let go with his other hand, and now we both had double grips on one another. Less than a minute later, we had a breath on and back, breathing hard, but alive. We were all alive, and we stood to be alive for a century, or more, to come. As we all checked our equipment and vehicles back down to the staging area, getting organized for the ride back to Lebanon, Colin remained inside the cavern above us. The dead inside the cave numbered over 1,000, formerly her father's army of skinwalkers, but they didn't bother her. We intended to leave a good number of the dead in the cave to preserve them from anyone else who might discover the place. Whether it was the cave itself or the many ancient words and symbols scrawled on its wall, held great power. Power we struggled with. Something anyway. Everyone in our traveling group of survivors were now immune to the zombie attraction. We were no different from the skinwalkers in that respect. Still, when we came across them, we killed them. It wasn't like they died alone. When we finally left the cave, Colin insisted on holding the book in Silverbolt's crown, Hoppy and Shiny Eyes, had pulled from the floorboards of Sandy Rock's home just a few months before. She had made many more entries though. We returned to Lebanon, only to discover it abandoned except for 5 people holed up in a home south of the auditorium, which was filled with damaged, dead bodies. The Nazi kids and the remaining adults had put forth a valiant effort. They had not run with those who had heard the horse coming. They had remained and fought, but the number of skinwalkers was just too great. All who remained perished. The funerals for the dead took weeks. During that time, Magi and Silverbolt spent hours with Colin. They went over the ancient languages and drawings she had copied, determining their meaning. It became clear to them both that the ceremony that had extended our lives all we had known for us stops, undertook out in a strange cave beneath a stranger power, scattered among fallacy words and symbols. Any mistake, or even some innocent memory, whoever had originally masterminded the destruction of all non-native life, could possibly reverse it ended, but only the character Wilson wanted that. Together, everyone wondered why the ceremony struck understanding the meaning, and we were now all partially a ceremony Colin later lay down dead to reface the years ahead. On a clear night in January, the biggest fire I'd ever seen was close to us. And I'm a hit. So you gotta figure I've seen a few bonfires. Silverbolt was now the gold of this ceremony had a bit as big as the TV Silverbolt told me he almost got foolish because he'd never been able to shoot. people who had found us in the retreat at the roof now numbered 220. As the sparks flew from the flames, dotting the night sky with orange